Hello everyone, welcome back to the IndieGeekGuy channel, and we're here with the Season 1 finale of Hannibal, and who knows where we're going here. There is a lot going on, but the most important note that we ended on last time was Hannibal just basically openly admitting to what he's done to Abigail. Abigail knows that maybe she has trusted the wrong person, or put her confidence in the wrong person, while Will has been left to have a seizure on a plane, which could be his only alibi out of this whole mess, because definitely looks like Hannibal's setting up the dominoes to fall onto him so he doesn't get his own name thrown in the dirt, because Will's getting too close and it's getting too hot in the kitchen for Hannibal. It really does feel like all the walls are closing in on him. Jack is on his case. Hannibal's done everything in his power to manipulate events. Abigail is maybe going to die. We don't know. And Alana Bloom is nowhere to be seen, goddammit. When you need her, she's not there. So who knows how this episode's going to end, if Will finally discovers that Hannibal is the one responsible, if he doesn't, if he is indeed going to be the one blamed for everything that's happened, or if Hannibal's going to get caught. Who knows? Who bloody knows? You guys do. You guys know because you've already watched this. I haven't. I'm in the dark, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they're going to wrap up this first season, what they're going to leave dangling to go into the next seasons, and what they're going to set up for the next seasons as well, because I expect a big old tonal shift, or like a shift in terms of the dynamic of how the show's going to work. So I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Before we jump into this episode though, please remember to hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy the reaction and the review of the episode that happens afterwards. Also consider subscribing and supporting the channel that way. There are social links down below, including the Discord server and my Twitch channel. We go live 3 times a week, playing games. It's a fun old time. People chat. We talk about things, movies, TV show, or we just take the mick out of my video game abilities. Either way, it's a fun time. Come hang out. That's all the things. Let's see what gets burnt down, what gets built up, where we're going for season 2, all those exciting things. Will find the truth and use it to save his own skin, it seems like at this point. So without further ado, let's jump into the finale of season 1. Oh, Will's on the hunt. This fucking stag that's been plaguing him this entire time. It's a demon! It's a demon stag! This is not the time to be tripping out, Will. Things are stressed out enough as it is. Did he come home? Did he just come? Oh wait, nope. He's been tracing around in the mud. He's been absolutely tracing around in the mud. He's spewing up ears now? He's spewing up ears? Fuck is going on? I did not expect the episode to start like this. Oh, it is actually in the sink though. It's actually in the sink. He wasn't hallucinating that. Alright, colour me confused. I'm fairly sure his little session seizure that happened with the cabin was fake. That didn't actually happen. But now there is an ear in the sink, so where's that come from? What's happening? Did not expect the episode to open this way.
You called me once because you didn't trust yourself to know what was real. This blood is real, Will.
No, I know.
Do you know how it got there?
No. No one does. Oh, then he shot a demon stag.
I didn't want to find any evidence on you. I wanted to be certain about who you are, but you can't even be certain with yourself.
This can't all be a plant, right? This can't all be a plant of evidence from Hannibal. Surely.
You always said you interpret the evidence, so do it, Will.
Empathize with yourself.
We analyzed the tissue. It matched Abigail Hobbs. It was her ear. Her blood under Will's fingernails.
Right, just because she's missing an ear doesn't mean she's dead.
Shut up. You could see he was breaking.
Yes, I could. And I kept pushing him. Because he was saving lives, Alana.
Yeah, do you... Fucking Jack. Jesus Christ, Jack. There's a lot of responsibility on you for this.
Of course I could see it. I told you not to put him out there!
Every decision I made concerning...
Abigail's blood is on all of us.
Yeah, you're damn right.
So's Will's.
You're goddamn right. Thank you, Alana, for showing up in this episode. But Abigail still might not be dead just because she's missing an ear. People can survive without an ear, okay? But how did Hannibal get the ear inside his mouth? Is the question, I guess.
Guess you dodged a bullet with me.
I don't feel like I dodged a bullet. I feel wounded. I'll go pick up your dogs in a couple hours. I'll take them back home with me. And I'll take care of them until...
See, I knew this. I knew Alana Bloom was the true MVP. This whole thing. Save those damn dogs.
I suppose you're going to ask me to draw a clock while you're at it.
Did Hannibal ask you to draw a clock?
Ooh, clue.
Draw me a clock.
Come on, Alana, you figure this shit out. You figure it out. Watch it be perfect now. Watch the clock be perfect now. I'll be so pissed off. It's still weird. It's still weird. The only problem is if Bloom starts figuring this shit out, her head could also be on the chopping block, which I don't want to happen.
Despite the overwhelming evidence, I find myself searching for ways that Abigail could still be alive.
Grieving is an individual process with a universal goal.
I mean, he's actually crying. He's actually got tears in his eyes. But they fake tears. He knows what he did. He knows what he did. He might regret it in some way, but still.
I never considered having a child. But after meeting Abigail, I understood the appeal.
I do feel that's genuine. I do feel that's a genuine thing from him. Something that he thought he could never have was presented to him. And now he had to take it away from himself, but there's Hannibal. Hannibal gonna Hannibal.
If they do find him guilty of killing Abigail Hobbs, I don't recommend you participate in any rehabilitation effort.
Yeah, alright. I think that's part of his plan, is it not? To be involved in that whole process. He can build him back up the way he wants him to be.
As you know, Will is a big fly fisherman, and he designs all of his own lures.
4 of the lures are made from materials, including human remains.
And we have a DNA match for all of them.
I mean, Hannibal looked at those laws in the second episode or whatever it was, so he instantly made that plan, didn't he? This is the perfect way to set him up.
Trophy, so now Will Graham's a serial killer who takes trophies?
Something's wrong with Will physically. Neurologically, he's not a serial killer.
Come on, guys. See, it's a setup. See, it's a setup. It's just too convenient. It's all... like, come on now.
We found your fishing lures.
What about him? He's like, what?
We found human remains amongst the materials that you made them from.
Well, this is clearly going to be his clue to know someone's setting him up. Right? It has to be.
There is something you should be afraid of, though.
Yeah, what's that?
Whoever's doing this to me,
Someone's doing this to you.
they'll be close to you.
So that's it. It's a setup.
They know the cases. They know forensics.
You know who it has to be, right? You know who it has to be. Tell Alana this. Alright? Get her to look into it. Because no one else is going to fucking do it for you. Oh, he's using the skills. He's using the skills he learned through his empathy.
Could be some form of encephalitis. It's hard to diagnose. There are no tumors, no lesions. It wouldn't even show up in a brain scan unless you were looking for it.
Look, just tell me if he could kill...
Oh, that look. Those daggers. Those fucking dagger looks. Don't you fucking get too close. Don't you do it.
Let me play the devil here for a moment, Doctor. This clock test. Could Will fake something like this? Would he be able to do that?
Man, Jack, you're just so desperate to see what you want to see. And it's upsetting me. It's upsetting me that Jack isn't seeing the truth. He's just seeing what the convenient answer is. At least to my mind, anyway.
I didn't kill any of them. And somebody is making sure that no one believes me.
How is Hannibal going to move this situation? Because he clearly regrets throwing Will under the bus, but he knows he has to. So is he going to try and find another angle to possibly shift this?
I want to see where Abigail died.
Okay. Okay, I would like to see that too. I would like to know if she's actually dead. I mean, Hannibal's definitely putting himself at risk at this point, because if they find him with Will in tow, that's not a good look for him. So he's clearly taking a risk. I mean, they haven't actually said they found her body yet, have they? I don't recall anyone having said that.
Are we gonna reenact the crime? You be my dad, you be my mom, and you be the man on the phone.
I mean, that should have been a massive red flag, that moment. That moment should have gone, woo, in Will's head. That's a lot of blood. That's like an explosion of blood. So maybe she is dead. Maybe she is dead. I was being too hopeful.
They haven't found her body.
Just the one piece.
See, they haven't found her body. They haven't found her body, though. If anyone was able to frame a murder and then save the victim, it would probably be Hannibal.
If you followed the urges you kept down for so long, cultivated them, you would have become someone other than yourself.
I know who I am. I'm not so sure I know who you are anymore.
Putting it together. He's putting it together.
One of us killed Abigail.
Whoever that was killed the others.
But this might be exactly what Hannibal wanted, is the issue. Oh no. Oh no, this is bad. This is bad. This is not a good look what's about to happen here. Jack, you couldn't have walked in at a worse time. Seriously.
Someone who thinks how I think. Wind him up. And watch him go.
You were the guinea pig of an experiment. Ooh, oh, yeah, there was no way Hannibal was getting shot there, so the moment Jack walked in, I was like, well, I think there's only one way this goes.
See.
Well, came full circle. We've definitely come full circle. But now Will's admitted it to himself. He knows the truth, I guess. So where's that going to go?
Well, he's not your victim, Doctor.
Nor is he yours.
He is. He's both of your victims.
I smoked the veal on a pile of dry hay. It imparts a unique, smoldering flavor to the meat. I'm going to see Will tomorrow. As a farewell.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. I'll see it to believe it, bud.
Those who denounce veal often cite the young age at which the animals are killed, when they're in fact older than many pigs going to slaughter.
I mean, if they're eating Abigail right now, I'm going to be very upset. Oh my god, as if they're doing this. As if they're doing this. They're fucking reversing the classic walk down the jail line shot.
Hello, Dr. Lecter.
Well, I guess this is our dynamic for season 2. And he's happy, happy, smiley. Fuck. Jesus Christ. I knew this was going to happen, and it's still deeply upsetting. Okay, that episode didn't start up the way I was expecting it to. I honestly thought that episode was going to pick up more or less directly from the previous one. But enough time had jumped for Will to get back home, sleep, have more visions, all this stuff, and for everyone else to be doing stuff. And, you know, I just didn't expect it. I thought we were going to have a direct continuation. I guess it was only a few hours or so, but still, I just didn't expect there to be that slight time jump at the start. But with that opening, I still have a question. How on God's earth did Will get Abigail's ear in his mouth? That wasn't answered at all, other than, I don't know, Hannibal snuck in while he was sleeping and put it in his mouth somehow, or made him swallow it? I have no idea. All the other stuff, like having all the physical human remains on the fishing lures and stuff, that can all be explained. Like, you can see how that might happen. But the ear, how did that happen? And there is still a lingering mystery as to what has happened to Abigail, I guess. Like Hannibal says, hey, they didn't find a body. She definitely bled out. That's for damn sure. but if anyone could bleed someone and then like resuscitate, heal them single-handedly, Hannibal is the person who could do it. But also, there's a good chance that Hannibal and his therapist Gillian Anderson were eating Abigail at the end there. So who knows? I think for now they've left that intentionally ambiguous, because it is a plot thread that will probably get picked up in the next season as Will tries to understand what actually happened to Abigail, how the ear ended up in his mouth and all of that stuff. Now, he clearly knows that Hannibal is the one responsible for everything, but he's kind of stuck in terms of being able to prove that. But let's go through this bit by bit. The return of the notebook. The notebook has returned. I got a new one. So going into this episode, the only thing I could really think of was the callback to, I think, episode 1 in terms of Hannibal's, like, when he said to Will what he thinks of him, and he, like, I've forgotten which the animal was. Someone did remind me in the comments section. Basically, an animal to keep the snakes away when they come past, and that's how he saw him. And this episode seemed to be the culmination of that, of him sticking to that word that, hey, I will use you to keep everyone else away from me if that's where this goes. And he's done it, at least for now. But this episode for me was really what it was about, at least what I got from it, was Hannibal justifying his actions to himself a lot of the way through it. Like I said in the previous episode, there's this thinly veiled line between his regret of his actions in terms of sacrificing what he seemed as like an actual friendship with someone versus, you know, surviving, not being caught, and all that stuff. And also his experiments, like his curiosity getting the better of him and all that stuff. Like, we had him actually crying, full on tears. And I feel like the Gillian Anderson character, his therapist, is someone who he is, in his own way, very honest with. It's like his one outlet for being honest about things. So I feel like there was genuine, like, regret there in terms of his actions and justifying them. As the episode goes on, he becomes more comfortable with his actions and is just like, yeah, I did what I had to do, essentially. But this episode was about that sort of journey of his, like, putting that together for himself. And weirdly, for a finale, the rest of it was very much seeding things for things to come later. We've got Alana Bloom on the case. Like, she knows that there is something else going on now. She's got evidence that she firmly believes in that was being tampered with in some way, or that there is a mistake happening, or she just believes Will's account that there is someone else messing with him in order to hide themselves. And I feel like that's definitely going to be picked up on coming up in the next season. Like, she's going to be trying her damnedest to prove that there is a physical problem with Will that is causing this, and that someone has manipulated events just like he says. So I think that's going to be a big thing. And my God, was she the MVP here. We needed her last episode. She's looking after those dogs. She believed Will because, you know, unlike everybody else, like, she actually knows the guy and is like, I can tell when he's lying, telling the truth, when he thinks he's saying something that is a lie or a truth. Like, she can read his nuances, seemingly, as well as Hannibal can read his nuances. The only difference is Hannibal uses those to manipulate and to control events best to his liking, versus Alana's like, I want the truth and I will do what I have to find it. Then we have Jack. Oh boy. I saw this coming from last episode because, wow, was it frustrating just seeing Jack go, well, this seems like the answer that makes the most sense to me. Not necessarily, like, I feel like I'm maybe being unfair by saying he's just going for the easy answer, but I think it's more a case of him, like, this is the most believable answer based on his own knowledge and experience. And it's frustrating that he isn't opening his mind to other possibilities, and it's just like, yep, well, this seems like this makes sense to me, so here we go. And I think there's an element of he can't admit his fault in it, or he doesn't want to admit his fault in playing that part of like bending Will's mind to breaking point through not realizing that was happening or taking the correct steps to keep himself. And he's just kind of passing the baton of blame to other people. Like, at the end of the day, he is Will's boss, and he should notice these things and take the initiative to go, okay, this isn't working. We need you to take some time off, whatever the case may be. But he's like, no, it's your fault, Alana, but you not saying anything, and it's Hannibal's fault for not saying anything to me. Like, you were both like, oh, this is fine, you blah 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 blah. But boy, was it frustrating. Oh my god, was it just every time he came in like, no, this is what's happening. It's like, come on now, read between the lines. But it all just goes to show how, well planned out Hannibal has been this entire time. He's had to adapt to certain situations as they've arrived, and I definitely think this isn't the result he wanted. Like, I feel like he wanted, like, there was a genuine upsetness there that he kind of failed Will and Abigail simultaneously. Like, he was genuinely didn't want that to be the case where the path has led, basically. And in his own way, I guess he kind of said that he chose to try and save Will over Abigail. But the best way he could see to save Will was to send him down for the murder, get him set up in, the asylum where maybe he can poke around in his head and rebuild him in his image, basically. Like, he said it was a farewell of sorts when he was talking to Gillian Anderson. So to me, that means he's saying goodbye to the Will that he knew, and he's going to attempt to maybe rebuild him in some way, and he'll be a new person. I'm guessing that season 2 is kind of going to be a inverse of what you know from the movies, because the movies are, Will Graham consulting Hannibal in his cell about a murderer, and that back and forth. Season 2 looks like it's going to be the other way around, that Hannibal's going to be visiting Will in his jail cell, and I don't know, maybe Jack will be going, Alana will be going to see him, maybe they need to consult with Will on other murders that are taking place, all that kind of thing. It's going to be that kind of flip Uno reversal of what you expect from the Hannibal Lecter storyline, but now Hannibal's on the outside, Will's on the inside, so that's interesting. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that, how that dynamic's going to work, and how the stories are going to work going forward with that. We had that interesting little beat which, brought the whole thing full circle with Hobbs saying to Will, see, and then Will did the same thing here. When Hobbs did it to Will, it was like, hey, you can see why I did this, right? You get it, you see why I've done these things, and you can empathize with me. Like, it's that desperate plea to be understood, even though he was a monster. And it was kind of the same thing here with Will, where he was like pleading with Jack, like, see what's actually happening here, please. See what's actually going on. But yeah, it was a neat little like bow to kind of tie the season up, that little moment. I do feel like Will has had this kind of suspicion in his mind for quite a while. Like, I feel like I would be able to pinpoint the moment where he figures it all out on a second watch of the season. But I do feel like he probably has had this in the back of his mind for a while, and he's just kind of admitting it to himself in this episode rather than discovering it, which is how it's played out. But I do feel like it's more a case of him admitting it to himself that he's been manipulated, and that the person he thought he could trust the most is the one who's been doing it. Especially since he describes, like, earlier in the episode that he has this scream that he wants to let out, and then he finally does kind of let it out at the end of the episode when he confronts Hannibal about everything. So it just feels like it's something he's been wanting to say for a long time, but now is the time. And just awkwardly, Jack walked in at the wrong moment. The absolute shit. just again sees what he needs to see to prove a point to himself, I guess. And at the end there, you had Hannibal and Jack over his hospital bed and kind of justifying themselves to themselves, saying that he isn't our victim. And in a lot of ways, Will kind of is their victim, especially Hannibal. And, in a roundabout kind of way, Jack's victim of, workplace related, like, not looking after him the way that he should do. Another interesting thing going into season 2, it definitely felt like, I mean, it's been teased in the other episodes as well, that Gillian Anderson's character knows more than what she's saying. Like, she's definitely defending Hannibal in some way, or protecting him from truths that she knows about, especially in relation to her, like, the attack that she experienced. And she knows things about Hannibal that she just won't say or can't say. And I don't know, I'm wondering how deep that rabbit hole is going to be. If she turns out to be as bad as him, maybe that there's that side of it, or if she just has a like it's the reverse of Will and Hannibal's relationship. It's her and Hannibal's relationship, like something similar. And she's, I don't know. I'm just speculating, I guess. But it is an interesting, like, new rabbit hole to go down that I'm excited to see where it goes, because it definitely felt like in this episode we got closer to that relationship and what it actually means to both of them. And my God, I still, if they're eating Abigail at the end, if that's the insinuation, oh boy, am I upset. But no, overall, I did really like this episode. It definitely feels like a lead in to what's coming next. Maybe that's just because I know that there's more coming, opposed to, like, if I just watched this live and maybe you may or may not have known that there was going to be a second season, like, maybe that would change my perspective of it. But knowing that there's a second season, I can see that they are definitely, like, pushing the path somewhere else, and that's what this episode was, is to take us on a new, like, journey going forward. But I do kind of love the reversal of, like, the traditional, like, Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs, like that iconic shot that everyone knows, even if you've not seen the movie. But here we've got Hannibal walking in and Will in the cell, and that's, you know, that you can't ask for more than that. That's a clever switch reversal that the show earned over the course of this first season. Like, if you'd just done that like halfway through the season, it might not have worked quite so well, but it definitely feels like the show went out of its way to earn that moment, to show that we can make that make sense, and you can come on this sort of new version of this journey that you may already know. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that's going to go. For season 2, I'm hoping to get a clear answer on what happened to Abigail, because I feel like that is left ambiguous by design. So maybe they'll give you an actual answer, maybe they'll leave it as ambiguous. I mean, it is fine to leave it as ambiguous, I'm absolutely okay with that, but I would be interested to see what they did if they were going to give an answer. How long is Will going to be locked up? Is that going to be a permanent thing going forward, or is he going to be found innocent, or, you know, all of that stuff? Will Hannibal be discovered? Will Hannibal be able to leave Will alone, or is his just constant curiosity of Will going to land him in trouble? Like, all these things. And then obviously Alana Bloom, and she's going to be doing everything she can, I assume, to find the truth. Like, there's lots of things going into season 2 that I'm excited to see, and I hope Jack finds out how wrong he was and he feels really bad about it. But I'm excited to get into season 2, and I hope you've enjoyed season 1. I hope you're ready for season 2, and yeah, let me know how much you've enjoyed this first season reaction review series, and what your highlights have been of it thus far, and yeah, let me know all that good stuff. But we'll catch you for season 2 next time. Oh boy, I have no idea what they're going to do. Thank you for watching this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, please press the thumbs up button. It helps me know you liked it. It helps it get seen by more people. And consider subscribing to the channel and help supporting that way. Social links down below, including the Twitch channel. Come over and have fun live in the chat. But other than that, thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one.